Hello and good morning. Welcome back to another episode with the Ham Radio Guy podcast. We're here with Jeff with Green Heron Engineering, and they make some rotor controllers. Good morning, Jeff. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine,
Good,
thank
good.
you.
Nice to meet you. Tell us a little bit about Green Heron.
Well, we've been in business now 20 years.
Okay.
Started doing a rotor controller that turned out to be a universal. I could make it universal, so I could work with any rotator on the market. It was a huge success, much bigger than I had ever hoped.
That's good.
I thought we'd sell a couple hundred. We've shipped almost 6,000 worldwide.
Wow.
And that's just part of our product line. But our standard staple is the RT-21 here. I can turn it a little bit. This is like the fourth generation of the same controller that we've been building for 20 years. Works with any rotator that's ever been made. We do some specials for big Luso towers or rotating tower systems, or just about anything comes along. We've sold quite a few to the military also for some applications and things like that. Our most recent addition is the as-L version, which is essentially two RT-21s.
And that'll give you azimuth and elevation.
It gives you azimuth and elevation all in one package. It's essentially two RT-21s, independently settable for different rotator types. So you could use an Orion for the azimuth and make up your own elevation system with a linear actuator, and this will handle it all in one package.
Wow.
And
that's
then
great if you want to do like satellite work or something
satellite,
like that. That's perfect for that.
It's EME is most often my sales are for EME customers with bigger systems.
Gotcha.
But this also has ground station capability for commercial ground, the lower end commercial ground stations.
Sure.
Universities are using it. Just sold one to a university in Georgia that's putting in a radio telescope system.
Oh wow.
In fact, they got two of them.
Huh, incredible.
So that's the rotor controllers, our basic line, or our starting line. But
and some of the features of these rotor controllers have ability to connect through like a TCP port or through Ethernet for remote access, or maybe looks like maybe even has an optional Wi-Fi.
Good question.
Card for it too.
Standard is USB and RS-232 for conventional computer control.
Okay.
But optionally, we have a LAN port now, an Ethernet, where it has a direct TCP server built inside, and it even has a built-in web server, so you can access it from anywhere in the world with your phone.
Oh wow! Does that come with all the different models?
No, only the RT-21 and the D, not the as-L.
So that's kind of the premier level rotor controller per se for Green Heron.
Yeah, it could be. It makes it just usable in any environment you want to use it in.
Okay.
If it's just a standalone rotator in a remote site, maybe the LAN or Wi-Fi option is available. If you've got a bigger system and you're looking at remote control, that's where you get into the rest of our product line.
Okay, and we can get to that in just a moment.
In just a minute. These things feature soft start and stop, ramp up and down to makes all your rotations gentle, not like the old
hard brakes.
Yeah.
For sure.
At least it will do that with a modern rotator that has a DC motor.
So let's talk about some of the different rotors that are available that will match with this. What are some of the brands? I mean, obviously high gain, probably Yaesu being the two popular ones out there.
High gains are less and less. Well, they're not made anymore, number one.
Right.
It is a 70-year-old rotator design.
Right.
It's challenged making a modern controller work with that kind of a system. They work better than the standard one, but if you really want to see the performance of an RT-21, you need a more modern rotator. Now, I'm a Yaesu dealer, which a lot of people don't realize. I'm a Yaesu dealer and I'm a SPID dealer.
Okay.
But I work with any rotator that's being made today or has been made in the recent past, or even the far past.
Okay.
A lot of my customers like to use it with the Orion.
Okay.
And we used to sell Orions, but Orion is now factory direct only.
Okay.
But I have a good working relationship with them, and we sell a lot of controllers for them.
Absolutely, for sure. And did you say have any other benefits or features you want to talk about for a second?
The ramp up and down, the nice display. We do have a deluxe version that has a blue OLED and a completely black finish.
Oh, wow.
I didn't bring one here because we've sold out, but it has point and shoot control, manual control with the buttons, or computer control to a heading. It supports rotation of 720 degrees if the rotator allows it. For example, an alpha spid or a spid rotator has no limit switches.
Okay.
So we can set the controls on this to do the soft limits in here. In fact, we always do soft limits in here to protect the rotator in case the limit switches would fail, but also to replace limit switches in rotators that don't have them, like in a spid. So this will allow up to 720 degrees of rotation, which is 2 revolutions,
right,
or narrow it down if you have a side mount type of scheme.
Now, let's say I'm not very IT savvy. Is there any programming or anything I have to do with my rotor controller with this online before setting it up?
If you buy it from us, we preset it for your rotator type.
You'll preset for whatever our rotor is.
And it becomes pretty much plug and play. If there are any different things that come up, we're a company that actually answers the phone these days.
Okay.
And we have
so I can talk to a real life person.
Yep. We have email. And we also have a nice, pretty large group now, a group IO group.
You have a group site page, and I've seen that.
It's almost 200 now on there.
Wow.
So, and that's very useful, mainly for the other products. This is a little more software
based.
Yeah, it's all software.
Well, let's go maybe go over and take a look at that here.
Okay, because it integrates with this thing pretty well. Now, for demonstration purposes, what I have here are the on-screen controls for GH Everywhere. Now, GH Everywhere, and there's a full hour-long video on the website you can access to get you into the details of this presentation I made at Visalia a few years ago. But it consists of software that runs on the computer where you're operating from, software that runs on the station computer, and a few small pieces of hardware. The software from the client or the user perspective consists of displays that can be easily configured by the user to be buttons or switches that can change based on the frequency of the radio down to the kilohertz level for band switches. They can be map displays for directional switched arrays, like this is an 8-circle receive array. And I rotate that. I can set up hotkeys, and I've set this one up to use the numeric keypad to rotate the direction around very quickly.
So you just use a numeric keypad on your keyboard, and you can rotate your direction you need real quickly.
That's right. That's right. I can switch these, although these are automatics, either under software control. So when the radio changes to 20 meters, for example, it'll make the 20-meter positions go, brings up a different receive array for 20 meters and brings up different beam rotators for 20 meters.
So if I have a site in, let's say, Wisconsin, I want to work remotely, but I'm maybe here in Florida, and can I pull this software up on my Windows computer at home and control my rotor up in Wisconsin?
Exactly.
Wow.
This is actually controlling my system in New York.
And this is the azimuth map on there too allows you to say, hey, I want to work more Africa or I want to work more Europe. You can actually point your direction right where you need to go.
You have many ways to point it. You can run it from N1MM or your logging program.
That we're going to go, that's 270 degrees or that's 136 degrees.
You can type the heading in. You can put in a country prefix like DL3 and hit Alt-J within the logging program, and that'll send your rotators. You can, if you had a touch screen, you could do this. But because it's not, I can do this. You can go to presets by just clicking the rotator you want to change, like that one. It brings up the presets you've defined.
Have multiple rotors running too, then.
Yeah, you can run them all. This system is my contest station in New York.
Okay.
We've got 12 rotators and at least 40 different switching devices out there.
Oh, wow.
And it's all controllable from Florida. Now, when we're operating in New York, we have exactly the same screen up. Nothing changes because we're running the same client software right there in New York as we run remotely.
Sure.
So I can operate here or I can operate remote in New York, and it's the same experience.
So, quick question. I see you're using this with N1MM.
Yep.
Is there some other
it gets radio
software that this is capable of running with besides N1MM?
Yes, there are almost everything. WinTest and DX Lab Suite and FR Stack for Flex radios.
FR Stack will work.
Those all provide the information we need in N1MM compatible format. Then directly we also accept N3FJP as a setup for that, and DX Log, And
MacLogger DX?
MacLogger DX. MacLogger, how does that? Well, MacLogger DX can be accessed by using there's a program called PST Rotator.
Okay.
And if you find something that we can't interface with, PST Rotator can, and PST Rotator will generate the packets of data we need. So if you run into one of those situations where we don't offer direct support, PST Rotator can go in the middle and provide it.
Wow. So you got a lot of options, whether maybe your Windows or Mac that this could operate with, and this is your premier software that really controls that rotor from anywhere.
Now there is a little bit of hardware that goes with it. First of all, the rotors are RT-21s, and they're plugged into the server computer on USB, so you don't need the LAN port for that.
Okay.
There's a wireless base, and there's an interesting feature about this that goes long beyond just remote control of your system. These also plug into the server. This is a wireless base controller.
Okay.
USB powered, range up to a mile.
Wow.
It's not Wi-Fi. It's an industrial controls protocol, and this can provide signals to any switching device or another RT-21 up to a mile away without a cable.
Wow, that's awesome.
And the remotes that go with it look like this. Oh, you gotta switch it.
Switch that around.
Here's one that has an 8 relay module in it for general purpose switching of any of your own switch.
Okay.
This is our own complete 8-position remote coax switch that has that wireless remote built in.
Okay.
This is good for 2.5 kilowatts, 6 through 160 meters. And again, the wireless control is built in. You could go up to a mile away without running a control cable.
Wow, and that's pretty reliable?
It's very reliable.
Okay.
Everything you see here, I'm using in my contest station.
I'm kind of an old network hardware guy, and I always liked the old hardwired systems and kind of wonder, well, wireless security, et cetera, those signals can drop or have issues with weather or something like that.
However, when the groundhog digs up the cable, you're out for a long time. With this, you might have a few occasional blips,
those ground varmints.
but you can run out there with, even if you have a lightning strike, you can run out there with a new remote and fix it and get it on the air in minutes instead of having to get the backhoe out to dig up your cable and replace it.
Absolutely.
I came from the industrial controls wireless business before I started Green Heron, and that's what we found out. We were doing radio telemetry for gas and oil wellhead automation systems, public utilities, electric utilities, all that stuff, and wireless, even spread spectrum radios, which this is, end up being long-term more reliable than cable.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
And I proved that with this. This system has been in use at my contest station now for over 12 years. It works great. Our operators can be local, they can be remote, a mix of the two. Everything looks the same, and we have almost no control cables going out to the towers. It's all done with wireless.
Wow. Awesome. All right, well, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us here on the Ham Radio Guy podcast. Thank you for your
Hope I didn't take too much of your time up.
No, just the opposite of that. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. I'm sure you got customers here waiting to get doors have opened up again for Hamcation here on Saturday.
They have indeed.
And we are good to go. So
okay.
Anyway, well, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you'll get some people looking at the Green Heron products and bring a little bit more life to this product. It seems like it's a very great product across the board. So,
thanks very much.
Thank you again.
See
73, thanks for joining us here on the Ham Radio Guy podcast here at Hamcation 2025.
Cool.